Hello, and welcome back to 32 All the Way for May 21st, 2020. I want to put up a little video just to talk about a couple of different things. I've been putting up a couple of chapters. If anybody has not seen the Shadows page yet, the little documentary he did about me, I think it's fantastic. It's very well done. We had a great time doing it. Hopefully we'll have some more collaborations. I want to talk about a couple things before we get started here. People are subscribing to the channel. I don't know if this is the accepted thing to do, but I'd like to try and give everybody a little shout out. Dennis Sheeran, Melody McAllister, Melissa Sidebotham, I think that's the right way to say it, and Night Saber. If I'm missing anybody else, I apologize. But again, thank you for subscribing to the channel. We're trying to get this up and moving. I talked a little bit last time about C.B. Gabriel's book, Trey and Kate's up on the shelf there. Again, I really enjoyed this book, and I have to be honest, it's not something I would have picked to read. But this is the whole reason why I wanted to start 32 All the Way, and I wanted to start reviewing other books. As I've mentioned lots of times before, this channel hopefully will be a bigger channel called Let's Help Each Other. And so far, there is C.B. Gabriel, there is Agnes Oquendo, and Clint Buchanan. We're all in this together. We're reviewing books, hopefully review each other, hopefully do a couple of more interviews. Hopefully everybody liked the Jerry Langton interview, and everyone will like the Shadows page. Going to try and expand a little bit more, do a little bit more editing, try to put these videos together. But for now, just live streaming, and we'll see what happens. So today, I want to talk a little bit about Agnes Oquendo, another person that I met through Facebook when I was trying to get some writer contacts, acquaintances, get to figure out how to put my book out there, get to talk to some different people to figure out how to do things. And I mentioned before in other videos, some of the Facebook pages are horrendous. People, pick on each other for the smallest of things, just talk shit about everything. It's just, I don't know if I really want to be part of it. So my whole idea was to get 4 or 5 of us, maybe the group will expand. We start talking about each other's books, and we try and get a little club, and everybody supports each other. You might not always agree with everything that the other person says, but again, like just, for example, some guy put up a quote the other day, and I can't remember exactly what it was. And it was obvious that English was not this person's first language. And I just can't believe how many assholes, like, the period's not in the right place, or the comma's not the right place, or that's not the exact, proper context in how we would use the word. You know what? Fuck you. Pure and simple. Fuck you. Right? I used to be a really big scorched earth guy. I had no problem ripping people to shreds for what I thought was the smallest slight. You don't get anything done. Right? I also couldn't have that attitude when I went back to work and became a teacher. And I don't want to have that with other people around me. Having said that, if people want to, just start taking me on over stupid shit, I don't know. I don't mind voicing my opinion. I don't want to be that guy who says, I'll say it the way it is, but I have no problem telling people, especially if you're going to be trashing some of the books that'll be presented here, or especially if you're going to be trashing my work. I think if I've shown anything in the interviews I've done so far with Jerry Langton, the interviews with the Shadows page, is that I know what I'm talking about. I was in this world for 20 years on and off. I experienced and saw a lot of different things, and I was never a biker. I never had a full patch. I rode a bike, but it's always been something that's interested me, how the underworld works, how crime works, how everything is interconnected. And if you want more info about that, because I told everybody earlier I would not repeat myself and just put the same shit in the videos all the time, go back and look at my interview with Jerry. Jerry's a crime expert, and we talked about a whole bunch of different things, like how do people get involved in this life? Is it worth it? Is it something that you think you might be able to do? Because I think a lot of people have a glorified romantic image of the outlaw, and trust me, seen enough to know it never turns out that way. Enough of that shit. Let's go and talk about Agnes. Agnes sent me 3 books on her own dime, and I still feel absolutely guilty about it. I have to figure out some way to figure out something for Agnes or send her back some money. Unfortunately, just when this was all going on, I'm sure everybody was experiencing with the pandemic. I just started my career as a teacher a couple of years ago, so everything was up in the air. Would I be able to, have enough money? Would I be able to do things? Everybody else is facing these problems, but to me, it was a bigger concern. So we were talking, and we wanted to have each other's books back and forth, and she sent me 3 of her books, which was just amazing. And CB Gabriel sent me her book, which was just amazing. And Clint sent me his books, which was just amazing, right? So I'm going to try and make that up for them. I can't really do it with Down the Lane because they all bought Down the Lane. I think they all did. I'm going to try and make it up to them for Down the Lane 2, which is being written and on the way. Let's talk about Agnes. Agnes's story is amazing. This is a professional lady who, and again, fantastic. Thank you so much for the notes inside, Agnes. This is someone who, unfortunately, suffered from cancer. And she, I think maybe it was a little harder for Agnes to accept. I don't want to put words in her mouth because she was a professional. She is a nurse by trade. So I think she understood a lot better than some people what might happen to her or what was probably going to happen to her. The book starts off with just, a good old-fashioned punch right in the stomach, being told that she has cancer. And I love the way she starts it. I'm truly sorry, but your biopsy results are positive. The report reads extensive, blah, 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 carcinoma. I think that truly just extends how we listen to other people talk, how we only hear what we want to hear, how even when it's devastating news, I still think it takes some time to really have it register, even though it's, this is something that was obviously life-changing for Agnes. The book talks about how she started taking up running. And she talks about different locations. She talks about Staten Island, some different pictures in here, running to beat breast cancer. I have not made a full review with this yet because I'm not going to lie. I have a bad habit of reading a book for the first time and kind of going through it and then going back and really rereading it. So I would like to do a deeper, more in-depth analysis on her book shortly, but I wanted to start getting these books out there because this is the whole idea behind this club. So number 1 for Agnes Verona Oquendo, Running Against Cancer. We'll read the back to you a little bit. A mother's personal struggle with a cancer diagnosis and recovery that found a path running down the East Coast. It's amazing that all this stuff that she took on. Now a 17-year cancer survivor, Agnes is a native New Yorker, a mother, a nurse, runner, and writer living with her family in Florida. I can't suggest this enough. Again, this is far removed from CB Gabriel's love story. It's far removed from my tale about being in the underworld, and it is going to be far removed from Clint's books, which one of them is going to come up next. I have not gone all the way through his books either, but it seems to be a mix of fantasy, of science fiction, of mythology, all the things that honestly, again, I'm not that big a fan of, but I want to review other books. I want to bring other books out to the public. I want to show everybody how we can bring this all together. I'm pretty sure a nurse in Florida and some guy out in the heartland of the USA and CB, who is in Ontario, is the same as I am. How do we all come together? We all came together because we want to write and we want to help each other promote their books. So again, that was just a short little note about Agnes. I will go into a more in-depth interview if anybody wants to, a more in-depth analysis of it later on if anybody wants to check it. And again, I'm just looking into buying the second webcam. I'm just looking into getting some editing, talking to some friends about it, about how to do it. Dave Jewell edited the first interviews with Jerry for me. The Shadows page, he did all his own editing, obviously, because he was doing the video. I want to put up something a little more substantial than this. But I think it's a good start, and I think we're getting the word out there. And again, I really hope you can all support 32 all the way. For the other people that joined, I think mainly you guys were from Facebook, mainly teachers. So I put up a little comment on Facebook yesterday saying, I do want to do educational videos, and I do want to do that. But for now, the focus is on the book. So if anybody finds this a little offensive or finds the language a little too much, I totally get that. But that is the world that my book was in, and also that's kind of part of me. I don't say fuck anywhere near as often as I used to, but I don't know if I've used this analogy before in the other little videos, but I'd like to put it out there just to show you how different things changed. One of the very first schools, the very first school I did my teaching block at, I got along really well with a gentleman named Gene Aiello. He was fantastic. He looked after me. He tried to tell me what my strengths were, and he also tried to tell me what I wasn't doing properly. And it was funny because even after a couple of weeks in, he sat down and told me one day, he says, I know when you're about to say something that you already know you shouldn't say, because I can see you stop, or I can see you not say anything, or you try to rechange your words. So I was already trying to get the dirtier words out of my vernacular, I guess, so to speak. And the second story I'd like to share before we finish off here, I was at a small private school in Niagara Lake. And trust me, I'll do more bitching about them later, about the way I was let go. It was not done very properly. But I was basically hired just after the March break of that year to go fill in for somebody who unfortunately could no longer work for the school. I don't know what their situation is. I didn't bother asking. But so we have the end of the year meeting, right? And I don't really have too much to contribute. I've only been there about 3 months, and I'm trying to keep up with all these other people who I think are much more intelligent and much more educated than I am. So they're going around the table and they say, well, tell us for the year, what was your rose and what was your thorn, right? I think I have told this story before. Anyway, you can hear it again. So first of all, I hate that shit, right? Just ask me, what didn't I do right? What did I do right? So they're going around the room, they're asking everybody else, and they finally get to me. So now all eyes are on me because I'm the new guy. And I don't have any problem ever talking in front of other people or discussing things, but I was new at this, and I really wanted to make a good impression. And I thought, you know what, fuck it. It's just time to be me and show them that I'm going to improve and I'm going to try and work, but I'm going to, this is a core of me. When I do the education videos, not to get off topic here, I want people to realize that I think all my experiences, all my years in that world makes me be able to make snap decisions a little quicker. It makes me know when there's going to be a problem or when people just are pretending there's going to be a problem. Anyway, we come around the table and they talk to everybody and they say, well, Paul, what was your thorn for the year? And I think about it for a minute and I say, well, honestly, I said, I was thrown in after only 3 months. There's a lot of things left I'd like to do and a lot of things I would like to accomplish and I didn't have a chance to do, either because of the time constraints or simply because I didn't know how to do them yet. So they all, okay, that, kind of nodded their heads, and a couple of people wrote down a couple of notes and stuff. And then they said, what was your rose of the year? And I looked the principal directly in the eye and said, I never once said fuck in front of those kids. The whole room, dead fucking silent. Not a word. There was, I don't know, about 7 or 8 of us. And then the woman who actually ran the school broke out laughing. And then everybody else kind of joined in. So again, you know what? I want to thank everybody for subscribing. I want to thank Clint, CB, and Agnes for their support so far. I really want all this to work. I want to bring you guys better videos. I want to bring you better editing, trying to put some more stuff on the wall. I want to have a whole studio, but this is where we start. So hopefully everybody's really digging it. Everybody's enjoying it. And we'll go from there. And thank you very much. I will be back shortly. This was 32 all the way. Later.